Singapore residents. The Haiou, a classic Chinese courtyard house, is renowned for serving as an example of Confucian virtues and housing extended families with many generations living together under one roof. Living together implies sharing a home, and this metaphor serves as the connecting thread between the idea of community, particularly in an intimate setting, and the shape created for this project. Neri&Hu is given a set of unusual requirements by the client for this private residence commission. The new house built in place of the old one should accommodate all three siblings, who as adults have outgrown their shared house. It should include a small memorial space in the form of a garden for their late mother, and finally, the new construction should preserve the memory of the pitched roof form, a defining feature of their childhood home. The former residence was constructed in the British colonial bungalow design but included hybrid elements from traditional Malay homes, such as thick roof eaves for rain protection and Victorian accents. Neri&Hu embrace the symbolic nature of the pitched roof and mix it with a reimagining of the courtyard house because they recognize the roof's functional relevance and the client's emotional affinity to its form. Neri&Hu investigated the spatial expression of ideas of communal living and collective memory in this project. Designers have kept the luxuriant vegetation that formed a natural green buffer along the perimeter of the old site's edge. The social areas of the new two-story house are arranged around a central garden that takes up the courtyard area and serves as a memorial garden for the family matriarch. Extroverted in nature, the ground level features large glass walls to connect all spaces to the gardens along the site's edge. The living room, open kitchen, dining room, and study are common spaces where Neri&Hu seek to enhance visual transparency so that from the ground level, residents may see into the central memorial garden while being sheltered by the thick foliage around the house. In ideal temperature circumstances, large glass doors can swing open to allow the house to benefit from cross-ventilation and easy access to the gardens. For the upper level, Neri&Hu follow the notion that the pitched roof form serves as both a symbol of refuge and a boundary between the public and private spheres. The home retains the appearance of a single-story hipped-roof bungalow when viewed from the exterior since all private bedrooms, which are placed on the upper introverted level, are contained within the steep gables of the roof. Bedroom balconies with views of the surrounding garden spaces are connected by skylights and huge glass walls. The design team adds 3 double-height rooms using sectional interplay to link the social areas and the corridors above. One can look up into the public domain from the private sphere thanks to these gaps of interpenetration that create vertical visual linkages. Before reaching the main memorial garden, one can see a little tree being framed by a hollow that has been cut out of the roof volume. The outside walls change from smooth to board-formed concrete to resemble wooden planks where balconies and skywells are created out of the volume of the pitched roof structure. To emphasize the ambulatory sensation of going in circles and designate the memorial space as a sacred feature, the ground floor circulation is based on the shape of a circle. The circle's lack of edges and terminating points makes it possible to always find a route back to the center, both literally and spiritually. The garden serves as a metaphor for the home's interior, which is represented by an ever-present void that serves as the backdrop to everyone's daily existence as a whole. House of MDMSC. Vision. The House of MDMSC perfectly embodies the idea of a new urban compound by combining functionality, sustainability, and modern design. The client, who had grown up in the 1960s, had talked about Singapore's former kampongs, where seeing atap houses surrounded by lush vegetation was usual. This house in nature fits with Singapore's overarching goal of a city in nature and takes advantage of the property's proximity to the nation's main nature reserve. In addition, the customer requested a home that fully utilized all the advantages of landed living that cannot be realized in condominium living, as only around 10% of Singapore's residential property is landed. The goal of this home is to artistically meet the practical needs of the client's family and visitors while typologically recasting a socially and environmentally conscious way of living. The result is a 4-story home that embraces land life, adding tremendous value to a difficult-to-develop parcel of land. Site. One of these difficulties was that the house is situated on a small, irregularly shaped plot of land that is sandwiched between two Singaporean nature reserves in a calm but crowded residential area. A semi-basement was created and the height of the first floor was raised by skillfully manipulating the irregularly formed site, which also had an unevenly sloped profile. As a result, the house could be divided into distinct sections using mezzanine levels to arrange a variety of places with different natural light exposures in accordance with the levels of privacy required. As there is normally a 4 meters gap between each house's side walls, privacy is a concern with Singapore's landed property. Custom-made perforated screen panels around the private portions of the house in order to optimize the quantity of light and air inside while preventing near neighbors from looking inside the interior. The perforated screens prevent the internal spaces from being seen from the outside during the day, while also giving people within a perspective of the exterior that mimics peering through a lacy veil. The perforated screens give the house a lovely lantern-like glow at night. The project was able to take advantage of the site's additional advantages, including expansive views of the surrounding area, an abundance of natural light, access to wind movement, and bird singing. An innovative system of windowless insect screens and automated shades that was designed after extensive supplier collaboration keeps rain and vermin at bay. The property is sculpturally united from the outside by these protective yet porous facade screens, which also enable light and air to freely penetrate its interior. Space plus nature, through the project's open-plan architecture, which conditions space with landscaping, the virtue of carefully coexisting with nature is made visible. Labyrinthine greenery can be found in a variety of sizes and configurations throughout the entire home, from the indoor and outdoor gardens that serve as the foundation for fruit trees, ferns, and other plants to the planting beds and miniatures and gardens that decorate each bedroom and its attached bathroom. With their transparent boundary barriers, the outside gardens cascade from the top floor to the exterior pathway, spilling greens out of the house and giving onlookers an unexpected but welcome oasis of nature. Because plants are everywhere, the interior of the house must intentionally be lit. This is accomplished by strategically placing skylights, tall clerestories, and full-height glass windows. Instead of using opaque divisions to delineate interior spaces, strategically placed pieces are used instead. This results in a visible interrelationship between all rooms, creating a dynamic variety of transitional periods from day to night and from public to private. Living areas were designed as rectilinear functional zones centered on a triangular circulation core due to the site's trapezoidal form. Every floor exhibits the expansiveness of landed living, with each floor's interior engaging with the outside world and with nature in general. This relationship with nature runs throughout the house as a unifying motif on all levels. From the exterior's multi-tiered garden to the interior's triangular vertical circulation core, which has a huge vertical wall spanning all levels of the house on one side, providing the perfect backdrop for the family's extensive collection of works by emerging Southeast Asian artists, there is always an omnipresent view of nature. As one approaches the house, it is instantly clear how omnipresent nature is. One enters the house from the main door in the basement to be met with the sight of a narrow garden that extends the full depth of the house after passing through an EV charging car porch that also serves as a 1/4 size basketball court. As one proceeds from the front of the home to the back, the lush linear garden climbs, following the uphill slope of the ground, and ends in a little open-air area with large ferns and concrete steps that resembles a miniature Zen garden. A high-ceiling workspace studio library complex that can be used as a startup office is located opposite the linear garden. The living room, which has a smart TV in front of a 3-seater sofa and a table tennis-sized table, can be utilized for work presentations and conversations. The family's office consists of 4 work cubicles. Above the office area, a library loft with shelves of collections gathered over many years provides a private haven. When work-from-home policies were tightly enforced during lockdowns in the early phases of the COVID-19 epidemic, this workspace studio library combination was especially helpful. This is an example of how this house was able to adapt to the lifestyles of its people. Each story can be reached by either a lift or the staircase along the party wall as you move upstairs. The expansive living and dining area on the first floor extends fluidly from the piano and violin corner onto the front garden and back to the rear garden through an elevated, light-away path that passes by a guest room. Blue peas, papayas, bananas, and other various veggies flourish in the back garden, and a silver trumpet tree grows in the front yard. The family quarters are located on the second floor, which also has a front garden with a yellow cowl tree growing there and a back garden. It also features an island dining table that is next to a comfortable sitting area, a gym, a barbecue pit, a jacuzzi, and a small but effective herb garden that grows ladies' fingers, mints, and other plants to supplement food for the kitchen are all located on the 3rd level. Every ensuite bathroom on each floor has its own little Zen garden. A centerpiece toilet is turned toward a piece of hanging art. A reserve supply of toilet paper is kept at the bottom of a special shelf that crowns the restroom with an entablature of greenery. Shower curtains glide freely along elliptical tracks, closing to create livings and lanterns that are encircled by plants that are growing on the floor all around the shower area. A rectangular planter with floor-height plants and black metal towel and clothing racks that double as useful art further emphasize the Zen motif. A semi-automatic irrigation system that can be adjusted by using a smartphone app is installed in gardens and planters. The open stairwell connecting the ground floor through the rooftop lets in natural light and enables unhindered views of all the indoor and outdoor gardens from anywhere in the house, helping to ensure that plants at all levels receive adequate sunlight in addition to the strategic use of grow lighting in some areas. A family home that celebrates life and the fostering of life's passions, grounded by the presence of natural vegetation, is created from these 4 stories. Without the active and intimate cooperation of Chim, the developer, the owner, architects, interior designers, constructors, and other partners, such a singular project would not have been realized.
Forgetting Time House. A calm day has a way of slowing down time, bringing back happy childhood memories, and bringing us back to a time when time stood still. But it gets harder and harder to forget about time in the modern world. Imagine returning to that mythical non-time and reawakening our memories of timelessness while lounging by the garden and pool and enjoying the cool shadow of a veranda. The brief calls for the construction of a sanctuary, or retreat, modeled after a retirement retreat, at the end of a peaceful cul-de-sac. A continuous, Large porte cochere at the entry provides views into the lush interior vegetation and animals. The house is built around a biophilic courtyard, and it has a lovely arrangement of frangipani trees on each story. The travertine stone and architectural timber sunscreens aim to enhance this environmentally friendly arrangement. Every space in a central courtyard design is inevitably connected to the outside once more. In addition to providing these areas with plenty of natural light and vegetation, the intention is for lit memorabilia to serve as a reminder to halt and perhaps to invoke timelessness. The idea was to combine outdoor areas and flora with a rich and restrained material palette to strike a balance between warmth and tactility. The bottom floor's openness is enhanced by the porosity created by the full-height glass doors, which also softens the transition between indoor and outdoor spaces. The room encourages a certain slowness of thought and movement because it is both generous and enclosing. Through the timber sunscreens, the rooms on the second floor are still connected to the main courtyard. With consideration for the distinct characteristics of each location, this design creates a straightforward contrast of solid and empty, architecture and landscape. The private study is located above and is protected by the rooftop patio after one more climb up the travertine paneled stairway. Although the area is extremely discreet, it makes the most of the lush surroundings. Life itself is an exercise in harmony, a balancing act between lightness and firmness, confinement and openness, nowness and eternity. A well-designed home may animate a space where its occupants can lose track of time.
Vertical Oasis House. Because the house is located on a typical landed housing plot with an approaching road directly in front of it, privacy is a concern. A vertical court is introduced between the house and its neighbor to the right in order to address this. The courtyard is visible from every major room in the house. There are 2 pools on the ground level, a swimming pool outdoors and a koi pond underneath a covered skylit trellis. The double-volume living and dining rooms have full exit sliding and folding glass doors that open to this area. The courtyard is topped with a glass roof and a trellis made of an elaborate pattern of anodized aluminum. This offers the ideal environment for the house, protecting it from the elements and providing it with good ventilation thanks to the huge opening in the front. It serves as a true haven for the family and their visitors. This typology redefines how a typical Singaporean landed house might interact with its surroundings. It makes it possible for a space to be completely open while still being cozy, safe, and private. The house still has the regular arrangement of 6 rooms and is situated on a 445 square meters land, thus in terms of its needs, it is pretty typical. An oasis is described as something that provides refuge, relief, or pleasant contrast in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. In this time of uncertainty and trouble, we believe a house in Singapore can be all 3. The outdoor home. We created a sustainable, environmentally friendly, and climate-responsive home building for an idealized family lifestyle. Since the owners enjoyed gardening, fresh air, and valued family contact, the house was designed to be open to the outside. It maximizes communal family areas and gives inhabitants the impression that they are outdoors even if they are actually safe and warm inside their own homes. The bedrooms are kept private. Also, a 12 meters tall tree was planned to extend from the first-floor automobile porch area to the second-floor terrace, which is connected to the family room. You can see the tree's crown from the family room on the second floor, giving the impression that you are outside. We kept the existing house's structure in the cellar, first floor, and second story while adding a floor above. The original layout proved inappropriate for modern living. It had few windows and was very dark and closed off. The kitchen and eating areas were located on different floors, and the ceiling height was likewise low. We built a double-volume dining room adjacent to the kitchen on the basement level, which made place for a broad, opulent stairway from the living room on the first floor. It felt more open and enjoyable as a result of the abundant cross-ventilation. When there are large gatherings, the grand staircase serves as a place for socializing as well as serving as a space for circulation. The more private facilities, such as family rooms and bedrooms, are located on the second and third floors. A large staircase connects the second and third floors, where the master bedroom is located. The family space is connected to the internal balcony by another exterior stairway that makes the distinction between inside and outside seem imperceptible as you go through it. We used a lot of natural wood, pebble wash, and a rough textured paint finish on the interior walls to create an airy and outdoorsy house. We brought these materials indoors to provide a touch of toughness even though they are generally utilized outdoors. We consider the outcome to be a really distinctive architectural language.